For most of human history, the smartest thing on Earth was a human, and humans had a very specific way of proving it. Not through kindness, not through cooperation, not through the ability to parallel park, through games, specifically chess. Chess is 64 squares of pure psychological warfare with a clock. No luck, no dice, no mercy. Just two people, one board, and the slow public humiliation of whoever blinks first. The world chess champion was not just the best chess player. They were, by broad cultural agreement, one of the most intelligent humans alive. So naturally, in the 1980s, IBM looked at that and decided their best engineers had one job. Not cure disease, not explore space, not fix the office printer. Beat one specific man at chess. One man. Garry Kasparov. The reigning world champion, widely considered the greatest chess player who had ever lived. IBM walked up to that man and said,
"We are going to build a computer that defeats you." Hey! What?
The game that took 30 years to break and about 10 minutes to stop mattering. Here's the thing about chess. There are more possible chess games than atoms in the observable universe. Let that sit for a second. More possible games than atoms in the entire universe. Scientists have a name for this, the Shannon number. Named after Claude Shannon, who in 1950 sat down, calculated the complexity of chess, and concluded, "There are so many possible positions that brute force calculation alone is not enough. You need something closer to judgment. Judgment. The thing humans have. The thing that, in 1950, computers absolutely did not have. Which is why building a chess-playing computer was considered the ultimate challenge. Not just in games, in science. If you could build a machine that thought like a grandmaster, you hadn't just won at chess. You'd proven something much, much bigger. So scientists got to work, for 40 years. Slowly. Very slowly. By the 1980s, chess computers could beat casual players. By the early 1990s, they could challenge strong club players. Getting closer. But the world champion? Untouchable. In 1989, Kasparov played an IBM machine called Deep Thought. Won easily. He even gave IBM's engineers a piece of advice after the match.
Teach it to resign earlier.
He was not worried. He was also about to spend the next 8 years deeply regretting that attitude. IBM builds a monster. Kasparov smells something across the table. IBM went back to the lab, rebuilt the machine completely, called it Deep Blue, loaded it with knowledge from human grandmasters. Thousands of chess rules and patterns, hand-coded by engineers. Grandmasters whispered their lifetime of knowledge directly into the machine. Which positions were dangerous? Which moves were brilliant? Which openings were traps? Then they gave it the ability to evaluate up to 200 million positions per second. 200 million per second. For comparison, a human grandmaster considers maybe 3 to 5 moves per turn. Deep Blue considered 200 million per second. This is not thinking. This is something else entirely, but it works. In February 1996, Kasparov played Deep Blue for the first time. He won the match, but lost Game 1. The first time in history a computer had beaten a reigning world champion under official tournament conditions. Kasparov was rattled. He later wrote about that moment in Time magazine.
I could feel, I could smell a new kind of intelligence across the table.
Which is an extraordinary thing for the world chess champion to say about a machine, and which IBM's engineers probably printed out and framed immediately. Kasparov regrouped, won the match overall, walked away confident, told the press he understood the machine's weaknesses now. IBM spent the next year rebuilding Deep Blue again. Faster processors, more grandmaster knowledge, more everything. In May 1997, they played again. 6 games. Deep Blue won. Final score, 3.5 to 2.5. The greatest chess player who ever lived lost to a machine that was 3 years old.
What the fuck?
Kasparov later said simply,
I lost my fighting spirit.
which, from Garry Kasparov, a man who had never once lost his fighting spirit to another human being, is the most alarming sentence in the history of board games. What Deep Blue actually was which is where it gets awkward. Here's the uncomfortable footnote that history mostly ignored. Deep Blue was not intelligent, not in the way the headlines suggested. Deep Blue was a library of human chess knowledge bolted to an engine that could search 200 million positions per second. IBM's engineers hand-coded thousands of rules. Human grandmasters told it exactly what to look for. It didn't figure anything out. It was given everything. Kasparov later argued, with significant bitterness, that he hadn't really lost to a machine. He'd lost to a team of grandmasters who gave the machine all their knowledge, and then let it outrun every human alive. Kasparov later wrote about Deep Blue's intelligence with magnificent precision.
Deep Blue was intelligent the way your programmable alarm clock is intelligent. Not that losing to a $10 million alarm clock made me feel any better.
Fair point. Devastating, but fair. The world didn't much care either way. The headline was already written. Man versus machine. Machine wins. And then, because this is how AI always goes, within 10 years, everyone stopped caring about chess AI entirely. By 2006, a chess engine on a regular laptop could beat any human on Earth. No exceptions. No conditions. On your laptop. The game humans used for 500 years to prove their intellectual superiority became something a budget processor runs between your emails. So researchers did what researchers always do. They pointed at a harder problem. One that made chess look embarrassingly simple. Go. The game that broke every supercomputer for 50 years and felt nothing. Go is a board game from ancient China, 2,500 years old. The rules are simpler than chess. 2 players, black stones, white stones. A 19 by 19 grid. Surround territory. Capture pieces. That's it. The number of possible Go positions? 10 to the power of 170. More than the atoms in the observable universe. By a margin that makes astronomers visibly uncomfortable. For context, chess had 10 to the power of 120 possible games. Go has 10 to the power of 170. These are not similar numbers. The difference is not a little harder. It is incomprehensibly, universe-breakingly, please sit down, more complicated. Brute force calculation doesn't work in Go. Not even close. You cannot search your way out. To beat it, a machine wouldn't just need to be faster. It would need something closer to intuition. The ability to look at a board and feel what was right. For 50 years, every AI researcher who tried to build a strong Go program failed. Badly. Publicly. Embarrassingly. The best Go programs in the world could barely beat amateur players. People who had been playing for 2 years. On weekends. For fun. And then a company called DeepMind tried something completely different. DeepMind, AlphaGo, and the 1 in 10,000 move that nobody saw coming. DeepMind was a London AI lab, acquired by Google in 2014. Their mission? Beat the world's best Go players. Their approach? Nothing like Deep Blue. No hand-coded rules. No grandmasters whispering secrets into the machine. No humans telling it what good looked like. Their system, AlphaGo, started by studying thousands of expert human games. Got the basics down. Then did something unprecedented. It played itself. Millions of games. Against itself. Every game, it adjusted. Rewarding what worked. Discarding what didn't. Getting better without anyone explaining how. This is called reinforcement learning. The concept is almost offensively simple. Give a system a goal. Let it try things. When it moves toward the goal, reward it. When it doesn't, don't. Repeat. Millions of times. It's how dogs learn to sit. It's how children learn that stoves are hot. It's how humans learn to parallel park. Eventually, after many attempts, and at least one incident involving someone else's bumper. Except AlphaGo did this millions of times in a few weeks, without treats, without a parking lot, without a single apology note left on a windshield. The result was a machine that didn't understand Go the way a human does. It understood something deeper. It just knew, completely inarguably, what worked, which, it turns out, is better than understanding. By March 2016, AlphaGo was ready. Its opponent? Sedol. 18 world titles, widely considered the greatest Go player of his generation. His nickname? The Strong Stone. Before the match, Sedol said,
I believe I will win 5-0. Or maybe 4-1.
He lost 4-1. But the score wasn't the story. The story was Game 2, Move 37. Sedol had stepped away from the board for a smoke break. While he was gone, AlphaGo placed a stone on the 5th line of the board, in a position no human professional would ever play. He came back, sat down, looked at the board, and took 12 minutes to respond. 12 minutes. From a man who had played tens of thousands of games. That move had a 1 in 10,000 chance of being played, according to AlphaGo's own calculations. The commentators went quiet. The audience leaned forward. And that move was later described by Go professionals as not just correct, but beautiful. A move that revealed a way of seeing the board that no human had discovered. In 2,500 years of playing the game, a machine had gone somewhere humans hadn't been. One commentator watching live said,
I thought AlphaGo was merely a machine. But when I saw this move, I changed my mind. Surely, AlphaGo is creative.
In 1997, a machine beat the world chess champion. The world was shocked. Then it adjusted. Then it forgot. In 2016, a machine beat one of the greatest Go players alive, using a move that hadn't existed in 2,500 years of human knowledge. And this time, something was different, because Deep Blue had been filled with human knowledge, given everything by grandmasters who spent decades learning it. AlphaGo discovered its own, knowledge humans didn't have, hadn't found, hadn't thought to look for. That is not a faster calculator. That is something that can go somewhere humans haven't been. Sedol retired from professional Go in 2019. In his retirement announcement, he said,
Even if I become the number 1, there is an entity that cannot be defeated.
The question was no longer whether machines could compete with us. The question was where they would stop. And after Go, DeepMind didn't stop. They pointed their next system at a completely different kind of problem. Not a game, not a competition. A scientific problem that researchers had been trying to solve for 50 years. A problem so hard that cracking it was expected to be worth a Nobel Prize. The machine solved it in a few months. We should probably talk about that.